With 5 months still to go, 2010 is shaping up as one of the most extreme years ever for weather. Apart from the current monsoon rains, May saw temperatures in Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan's Indus Valley reach 53.5 degrees Celsius. 16 countries have also recorded record highs. The other extreme parts of Peru have recorded the lowest temperatures in half a century, reaching -24 in some places. While the largest hailstones ever seen have fallen in America. Western Australia is experiencing severe drought, and Russia has been hit by widespread wildfires, leaving dozens dead. Rick Piltz is a former senior associate on the US government's climate change science program. He's also director and founder of Climate Science Watch. He joins me now from Washington. So, Rick, what's the reason for these unprecedented highs and lows? Is it climate change?
Well, the climate is changing. Increased intensity of precipitation is being observed on all continents. That's a prediction of global climate disruption from human activities. And where it's not raining, you get a faster, more evaporation, more drying out of the land, more susceptibility to severe drought, more susceptibility to wildfires. So scientifically, it's very complex, but one of the main ways that we will experience long-term climate change is through the changes in the weather and the extremes that of the sort that we're seeing now.
Is there a single reason why 2010 is seeing such extreme weathers? And people, meteorologists, scientists, are saying it is the most extreme year in recorded weather history.
Well, what has been called extreme is likely to become more frequent. Floods that have been called 100-year floods in the future will happen every few years. So in Asia, what you're seeing now, I think, is the warming of the tropics, and the air holds more moisture, and it moves up onto the continent from the Indian Ocean, and it runs into the mountains, and it dumps, before it goes over the mountains, it dumps a lot of this precipitation. You get the flooding in Pakistan, or it can be in India, or it can be in China. And farther north, where it's warming, the soil is drying out, you're getting more drought, you're seeing the wildfires in Russia. These are all potentially the kinds of things that you will see more of with global climate change that comes from our burning coal in our electric power plants and burning oil in our transportation system.
So these extremes are because of climate change that there is argument about and no agreement about so far amongst all the scientific community. I mean, we know, you and I know, that there are always monsoons, but what I'm trying to find out is whether or not these are significantly different levels of monsoons, and whether there is worse to come or with greater frequency.
Well, I think you will see weather extremes with greater frequency. It's been traditional to say, well, there's weather and then there's climate, and the weather variability is not the same thing as long-term global warming and climate change. But climate change is not just something that's way off in the future. Climate is the sum of the weather over time, and that is changing. And it's changing in ways that have been predicted by climate science. And there's not a big uncertainty in the climate science community over the main scientific conclusions about how human activity is driving changes in the climate that involve heating the planet and disrupting the weather and disrupting ecosystems in various ways. So it's not like the weather is a certain way now, but then it's going to go back to the way it was before. It's not going to go back. It's going to go forward, and over time, what seems extreme now will come to seem more common according to the kinds of projections that we're seeing from the leading climate scientists.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Rick Piltz in Washington, D.C., thank you for joining us.